They said he was finished. They said no one could come back from $500 million in debt. But Donald Trump did. And he didn't just recover. He turned that mountain of debt into the foundation of a billion-dollar empire that would shock the world. It's one of the most unlikely financial comebacks in modern history. From the brink of total collapse in the early 1990s to the rise of a global brand that would one day reshape politics, media, and real estate, this is the story of how Trump turned failure into fuel. This is not just about wealth. It's about risk, reinvention, and the art of the comeback. So sit back as we uncover how a man who owed nearly everything somehow rebuilt an empire worth billions. In the late 1980s, Donald Trump was the face of New York success. His name glowed in gold across the Manhattan skyline. He owned casinos, hotels, and skyscrapers. He was featured on magazine covers, known as the King of Debt. But in those years, that title was both a badge of honor and a ticking time bomb. By 1990, the global economy slowed. Interest rates soared, and Trump's empire, built on leverage, began to crack. His properties weren't making enough to cover the interest on his massive loans. At one point, he reportedly owed over $900 million personally, and his companies were in debt for billions more. The banks wanted their money. The tabloids called him trumped up. His Atlantic City casinos were bleeding cash. His airline, Trump Shuttle, was grounded by debt. Even his crown jewel, the Trump Tower, was at risk of foreclosure. For most businessmen, that would have been the end. But Trump wasn't most businessmen. When everyone expected bankruptcy, Trump did something few would dare. He negotiated with his creditors instead of hiding from them. He convinced more than 70 banks that he was worth more alive than bankrupt. He told them, "If I go down, you go down too." He sold his yacht. He sold his airline. He cut personal expenses, even borrowing $450,000 from his father to stay afloat. But most importantly, he started selling his vision again. He promised the banks he could rebuild, and in exchange, they restructured his debt. Some canceled interest payments. Others extended loans. One bank even gave him an allowance of $450,000 a month just to maintain his lifestyle while rebuilding his name. Trump's secret weapon wasn't luck. It was persuasion. He turned his charisma into a financial tool. Trump realized that even when his buildings were losing money, one thing still held massive value: his name. The Trump brand had become synonymous with luxury, power, and confidence. Instead of buying new properties with risky loans, he began licensing his name to others. Developers paid millions just to put the Trump name on their hotels, towers, and golf courses. It was business without ownership, profit without debt. From the Trump International Hotel in Chicago to Trump Towers in Istanbul, the brand stretched globally. Each new deal boosted his income and restored his image as a billionaire businessman. Trump transformed his reputation from broke developer to brand mogul. The name alone became more profitable than any single property he owned. In the late 1990s and early 2000s, Trump discovered a new way to monetize his image: television. His role in The Apprentice reintroduced him to millions. Each week, he sat in that iconic boardroom, pointing across the table and saying, "You're fired." The show wasn't just entertainment, it was marketing gold. Trump became the symbol of decisive leadership and success. NBC paid him millions, but the real payoff came in brand value. Sales at Trump properties spiked. Demand for his brand surged worldwide. Soon, he wasn't just a businessman, he was a pop culture figure. By 2005, Trump was licensing his name across the globe: Dubai, India, the Philippines, and beyond. He partnered with local billionaires who built luxury projects bearing his name. The deals often required no investment from Trump himself, only his image and brand. This shift from developer to brand ambassador was his greatest pivot. It allowed him to multiply his empire while minimizing risk. When the 2008 financial crisis hit, Trump's name survived while many real estate giants went bankrupt. Even as markets crashed, his brand stood strong, because people associated Trump with resilience and luxury. By the mid-2010s, Forbes once again listed Donald Trump as a billionaire. The man who had once been $500 million in debt was now worth over $3 billion, depending on the year and valuation source. From near ruin to the top of the Forbes list again, his comeback was complete. Trump had done what few could imagine. He turned debt into leverage and crisis into currency. Trump's empire today stretches beyond real estate. From hotels to golf resorts, TV deals to political influence, his reach has redefined what it means to be a modern mogul. He once said, "I use my brain, I use my instincts, I negotiate and I win." Love him or hate him, one thing is undeniable. Trump knows how to turn setbacks into stepping stones. His journey teaches a timeless lesson. In business, failure isn't final unless you let it be. So, how did Trump turn $500 million in debt into a billion-dollar empire? Through bold risk, relentless negotiation, and the power of personal branding. It's the ultimate story of comeback. The rise, fall, and rise again of a man who refused to lose. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more incredible stories of success, wealth, and ambition.